Hey guys, it's Mike here, and in this video, I want to discuss a topic that dates back all the way to the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z. And this involves a question that I've had many people ask over the years with regard to Vegeta and his fight against Goku in the climactic battle of that arc. And that is, did Vegeta actually need to transform into an Oozaru or Great Ape in order to defeat Goku during their battle, or could he have done it even without that? Well, I'm going to be getting into that right now, but before I begin, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and enabling notifications so you could stay up to date with all my future videos, trying to grow this channel and just keep being even more successful. Furthermore, make sure to leave a like if you like this video, share your own thoughts down below, and let's get into the video. So let's begin with that fight between the two during the Saiyan saga. Now, during this point in time, Vegeta already had a significant power advantage over Goku, being over 2 times stronger than Goku, whose power level was a little over 8,000, and Vegeta's power level was 18,000. Now, what happened was Vegeta went to his full power and went to fight against Goku, immediately catching him off guard because of just how insane his power was compared to Goku and his imagining and reckoning of power at that time, headbutting him, beating him down. Goku decides to whip out the Kaioken times 2, which is the initial Kaioken that I talked about in the video you could see in the top right corner, and he still wasn't able to really do much against Vegeta. This is what led to him eventually using his Kaioken times 3 in their battle, which of course took his power level to being greater than Vegeta's. However, as King Kai had stated, this is something that Goku should not do because it could destroy his body in the process, which I also talked about why Goku's body gets hurt when he uses Kaioken, another video you could see in the cards in the top right and below the description when you click on view more. Now, with that being said, Goku got the advantage here, started to deal some damage to Vegeta, and in effect started to also shatter his pride. In another video I talked about 5 times that happened. Yet another plug. And this is something that caused Vegeta to be so infuriated that he proceeded to try and destroy the entire planet. However, right before he went to launch his Gallic Gun, what was Goku saying? He said, "Sure enough, it looks like using the triple Kaioken is too much for me. If this drags out for much longer, I'll be the one who's done in first." Which is interesting, because Vegeta doesn't really know about any of the damaging effects of the Kaioken at the time. He just thinks that Goku has some ability to increase his power beyond that of Vegeta's normally without any real significant damage to himself. And Goku once again has to do this to match up to Vegeta by using his Kaioken times 3, putting him at 24,000 power level, which augments his power up to the amped power that Vegeta's putting out with his Gallic Gun, and the two of them are equivalent until Goku hits him with his Kaioken times 4 Kamehameha, which fires, hits Vegeta, sends him into the atmosphere, but as you can see right here, Goku is gasping. He's really in a bad way right here. So much, in fact, that when Yajirobe comes up to him and slaps him right on the back, it actually causes Goku to scream in agony because he puts so much damage and so much of a strain on his body. However, as Goku mentions, Vegeta is still alive, and really, this attack didn't do all that much damage to him after all. Vegeta at this point not only is incredibly powerful, but incredibly durable. Not only because of the fact that he trained under, 10 times gravity on his home planet before it was destroyed as a kid, but additionally that he's been fighting on the battlefield, and he's just kind of a tank in general, as we see many times throughout the franchise. This is what causes him to try and come up with the plan, as we could see right here. As much as I hate that it's come to this, it seems like I'm left with no choice. I'll transform into an Oozaru and crush him. My strength as a Great Ape is overwhelming, and according to certain sources, the Oozaru is a 10 times increase, although realistically it would make sense if it was even more just because of how much it reconfigures their body. Of course, the moon was destroyed at this point in time, which is what leads to Vegeta deciding to go down to the Earth and use his ability that he only uses once for some reason in this franchise, which is that he creates his own false moon, after explaining in depth exactly how the Oozaru transformation works, in which the Blutz waves are absorbed through the eyes of the Saiyan from the moon after being reflected from the sunlight onto it, and then in turn, it causes them to go through that metamorphosis. Now, the second that Vegeta does this, he actually makes himself significantly weaker than he was before. He has to put a lot of energy into forming this attack. And no, unlike the original English dub says, Bardock didn't create this, nor was he a brilliant scientist. And Goku even points this out. His power dropped the moment he made that weird light. To go that far, what could he be planning? He throws this up in there, burst and mix, and what do we see? It creates a false moon that causes Vegeta to become the Oozaru. This leads to the revelation that Goku was the one that actually killed his own grandfather when he was a kid by accident after transforming when he looked at the full moon, and the reason why Kami wanted to remove his tail, as we could see down here. But nonetheless, Goku at this point is easily handled and defeated by Vegeta, having his body broken, getting most of his bones just shattered and crushed by the strength of Vegeta on display, and being to the point where Vegeta was about to kill him. But really, when you think about it, did Vegeta even need to transform into an Oozaru to beat Goku in the first place? I don't really think that that's the case, because the fact that we could see all this preceding evidence. Like, for example, after Goku used that Kamehameha with the Kaioken ×4, he was so damaged, so hurt, and his power was likely so much lower than it was before, let alone not being able to really continue to put it out because of his damaged body, that what fight could he have really put up against Vegeta after all of that? Not to mention, Vegeta didn't even really take that much damage from this Kamehameha. He actually lost more energy using this attack, as Goku points out right here, than he did when he was taking that damage. Not just that, but even in this weakened state and an even weaker state after what happens when Yajirobe cuts his tail off and he returns back to his normal form, he's still really strong and able to put up a fight against Gohan and Krillin and be able to get the better of them. And even then, he's able to take this Spirit Bomb, which had about half the energy within it that it did before, and take it, damaging him. And, everyone at this point thought that Vegeta was going to be killed until, like a horror movie villain, his eyes shot back open and he started to shout out one-liners about digging a grave for themselves, and then got right back up and proceeded to fight one more time. It wasn't until Gohan himself became an Oozaru and then fell directly on top of Vegeta that he eventually ended up being defeated in the process. And even then, he still wasn't dead and was able to escape, only being spared by Krillin after Goku asked him to. And Goku even mentions how much of a waste he thought it would have been if he had let him kill Vegeta right then and there, because after I finished training with Kaio-sama, I thought that I'd reached my peak. But then I saw Vegeta fight, and he far surpassed me in just about every way you can think of. To be honest, it surprised me. I hadn't felt that way since the first time I fought with Piccolo. But at the same time, deep down, when I see somebody that powerful, I get excited, and my heart starts to race. Maybe it's because I'm a Saiyan too. I want to prove to myself that I'm stronger than Vegeta, that I can beat him with my own ability. I know this is wrong, but please, I want another chance to fight with him someday. So Goku himself admitted that Vegeta was far superior to him in every way that he can even imagine. And this is the case even before he became an Oozaru, because even if Goku became an Oozaru, he wouldn't be able to control himself just like Vegeta could, and unless he could become an Oozaru and use Kaioken on top of that, he would still get his butt handed to him by Vegeta, and he would still need to use higher degrees of the Kaioken on top of Oozaru just to be able to match up to him at the same time. So when you think about it and you factor in all the evidence that comes together, did Vegeta truly need to become an Oozaru, as we could see right here, in order to defeat Goku, or could he have done it on his own? Let's get into that conclusion right now. So did Vegeta really need to transform into an Oozaru or Great Ape in order to defeat Goku in the Saiyan Saga, or could he have done it in just his regular base form? Well, ultimately, I feel like all of the evidence points to the latter, that Vegeta actually didn't need to transform, he just thought he did because of the fact that he didn't realize all of the limitations and ramifications of the Kaioken. Goku himself said that he would be the one to lose first if everything continued at that rate. We saw that Vegeta didn't really take that much damage from Goku's Kamehameha, and even after weakening himself with his own technique, after getting his tail cut off, after getting hit with the Spirit Bomb, and after having an Oozaru fall right on top of him, the guy still didn't die and was still able to fight back up until the very last moment, where he was crawling back to his ship and not able to move at that point just because of how much damage he took, which was way more likely than even Goku took at that point in time, other than, the brute force trauma of getting his his bones broken. So the fact of the matter is that Vegeta himself likely would have been able to win without even transforming at that point. And so that's why I think that it is an interesting way to think about it, what exactly would have occurred at that point, assuming that Gohan and Krillin didn't jump in and help to, along with Yajirobe, of course, because people always overlook him, and help to have Goku defeat him. But even at that point, let's say that they all did jump in, Vegeta could have just transformed and defeat all of them at that point too, or he could have, taken out some of the people like Krillin and Yajirobe even earlier, making it to where they wouldn't be able to cut off his tail, and then he just, blows up the earth and kind of gets away from there, I guess so. But what do you guys think? Let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments. Also, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you can stay tuned to all my future videos. Make sure to leave a like, share your own thoughts, share the video out, and make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe.